I'm Julie Bean and I'm here live on Art Beads creating jewelry with you today. We're going to be looking at finial beads. So this is a show I've wanted to do for a while, so I finally gathered all the supplies and put it together, but I'm going to teach you all about what finial beads are because they might be something new to a lot of people, and also how to use them. So you got to know what they are, but you also got to know how to use them. And they're really cool because, let me snag these, you can make your own custom headpins, which I think might be a new addiction of mine. So I think that's really cool. And I see we have Michelle here with us, and we have Eric here. Hello, Tanya and Connie. Hello from chilly Minnesota. Are you cold already? Oh my gosh, I think you probably have a lot of people who are very jealous right now. I know we're going to be close to 100 again. So I'm in Southern California, and we've been having this heat wave, but it's supposed to taper off. Hello, Bobby. Welcome. Okay, so like I said, we are here live. It is Wednesday morning. We're going to be making some jewelry together. You might be joining us on Art Beads. You might be here on Facebook. You might be on YouTube. Wherever you are coming from, welcome. Just please quickly note that I can't see your comments if you're on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. But if you follow the link in the description of your video and pop on over here to Art Beads, then I can see your comments like Santa Barbara Girl and Robin and Hannah. Hello, everybody. So follow that link, pop on over, and then you can join the party over here. And when you comment, I can see it live, which is what we want. We want to be able to talk back and forth, which is the whole beauty of these live shows. Hello, Moni and Gail. Good morning. And Denise, hello. Happy Wednesday from Florida. That is nice. I bet it is beautiful there. Oh, thank you. I made this in one of the previous lives. Well, I should say I made the components for this in a previous live, which you could always go see. This was the Super Duo beaded bead with the cushion rounds, and it was supposed to be a bracelet, and we made a bracelet in the video, but I'm not really a bracelet person per se, so I turned it into a necklace. So always fun to kind of experiment and play around with your jewelry. Hello, Hazel. It's good to see you today. Well, I say see, but it's good to see your name and have you joining us with us. All right, guys, do you want to look at finial beads? Because I made a few samples, and then I'm going to teach you what to do with them, which will be fun. I'm going to flip my camera down because we have a lot to go over today. All right, there's my backyard. I'm going to be out there this weekend when it cools down. I have some fun plans for it. All right, so finial beads. This might be something new to a lot of people. And I have a ton of gorgeous colors, and this is just the smallest sampling of colors. So it's actually maybe easier to see them here in the tube. They are just these tiny little round Czech glass beads, but they're only half drilled. So they only have that hole that goes halfway through. Hello, Teresa in LA, my neck of the woods. All right, so I'm gonna put these down. I want to show you what this is. And then just a quick reminder, if you want to see more specifics or the colors or anything else on my table today, it's all there in the shopping bag. Just click on that. It's all preloaded so you can see all the specifics, learn about the quantity, the color, the price. You can even add it to your shopping cart. Okay, I want to turn one of these around because I want you to see what these are. So they have a hole on one side, and I don't have any glue on this. So it's gonna be a little hard to pick up. Okay, so I've got my wire right here in the hole on one side. So it's got a hole on one side, but it is just completely smooth and round like a bead on the other side. So this is what a finial bead is. So you think of like a finial for home decor. It's kind of the same principle. So it's just a really pretty finishing technique here. And we can see that it looks great from all sides. It's very small and it just creates a really nice finished look. And what you can do is you can use it with wire that is 20 to 24 gauge. So I have some wire here, and you can kind of choose here. So I have like some really pretty Art Beads designer wire. What's nice is if you are color coordinating your projects with your findings color, sometimes it can be a little hard. Like let's say you have this beautiful antique copper designer wire and you're making a project with it, but you want some head pins. it can be hard to find that exact color in a headpin. So now you can make your own, and then you can coordinate your color of your finial bead with the rest of your beads. And you can do 24 gauge wire, you can do 22 gauge wire, or you can even do 20 gauge. And just from my experience working with this, I kind of love the 22. 22 seemed to me to be the easiest to work with. Now, what you can also do, if you don't want to do wire, you can take pre-made head pins and just snip off the head, and then you'll have the nice straight wire to work with. And then it'll become a head pin like any other head pin, but with your own custom color bead on the end. And that's really easy to do as well. Okay. Oh, okay, good, Moni. Okay, I'm gonna definitely walk you through that with a memory wire bracelet. That is something we're gonna talk about here. So Moni just said that she has some for her memory wire, but has been nervous about the glue selection. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this. So here is one application for finial beads. So we love memory wire bracelets, right? They're super fun, they're super easy. We usually make a little loop on the end that you can then hang a charm or just leave the loop plain. Or there are sometimes little memory wire end caps you can use as well. But let's say you want to match your beads. Like this is called the Blooming Dahlia color. And I got a finial bead in the Blooming Dahlia, and then I got coordinating beads in the same color, which is another really nice advantage to the finial beads is they are Czech glass, and you can look at their color name, like metallic luster tanzanite. You can search on the website, on the Art Beads website for that exact name, and oftentimes you're gonna get a bunch of different bead shapes and styles in that same color. So you can really coordinate your designs, which is something I really loved about these as well as I was kind of playing around here. So in the shopping cart right now, we're not gonna make this exact bracelet here in the show. I am gonna show you how to add the finial bead to start the bracelet, and I'm gonna talk you through how to add it to finish it as well. So we're gonna go through all the steps needed to make a memory wire bracelet, but because of glue times, we can't do one from start to finish in this show because there has to be time for the glue to set. But I'm gonna walk you through it so you'll know all the steps. Here's what it looks like already glued onto a piece of memory wire. I did a little sample ahead of time. But all of these beads here, all these pretty beads are there in the shopping bag if you want to see any of them. And they're so pretty. I use this really lovely bead mix right here. There's like triangles and cubes in here. And we're going to spread some of that out because we are going to make a matching earring. And we'll do this here in the show using that finial bead down at the bottom for our custom head pin. Make a pretty little dangle earring to match the bracelet. So we're going to do that. We're going to do another little earring here. This is using this cool mix I found. This is a really pretty bead mix. You see this? So all those, I mean, if you know me, you know that these are my colors. Turquoise, what I always call the jadeite green, just so vintagey looking. They're just so pretty. So we are gonna make a pair of earrings using the finial bead for this as well. So I'm gonna walk you through all of it, and we're gonna talk about and show how to actually make your own head pins with the finial beads too. So we have a lot we're gonna do. If you have any questions, ask. If you're here on Art Beads, when you make that comment live, I can read it, Michelle can read it, Eric can read it. So definitely feel free to ask as many questions as you like. I know finial beads are a little bit new, newer in general, and then also new to a lot of jewelry makers. So I just want to show you this. Oh, hello, Nancy from Michigan. All right, so here is, this is this metallic limelight. I use this color a lot. I know that there's super duos in this color. There's other beads in this color. Just kind of want to walk you through a couple of these because there's so many pretty colors. Metallic flax, if you want like a nice gold end. This is, I think, is lava. So this would be good for Christmas. All right. Hello, Peggy. We are looking at finial beads, and here you can really see that half drilled hole. So you see that little hole right there. And then all these colors are in that shopping bag too, if you want to learn more about them. But here is a pretty turquoise, and I did make a head pin with turquoise. I did it in silver and gold because I love turquoise. But here's our little custom head pins. And we'll talk about how to make those, and we're actually going to make them together. And like I said, I just pulled a few colors. There are so many more colors on the website. It is amazing. Maybe Michelle could let us know how many, because I want to say there's like 50 or 60 colors. There's so many. Okay, and then these are just some of the ones I picked that I thought were so pretty. Okay, and then there's even like a dark navy. And then there's this pretty purple. So lots and lots of gorgeous colors that you get to customize your designs with. All right, so again, here's the memory wire bracelet. And then here are all of our fun little custom made head pins. And then here's the example of the head pins in use. All right, guys, let's start actually making. So what glue I'm going to be using is GS Hypo Cement. It has a nice fine applicator tip. It's pretty easy to use. The only thing I don't like about this glue is getting the little needle back into the cap, which you'll see here in a minute. I do struggle with that a little bit. It eventually happens, but this is a good solid glue for gluing half-drilled beads, and that's what these are. These are half-hole, half-drilled beads. Oh, Michelle is saying there's 68 different colors, so there are a lot of colors to choose from. All right, it does work with memory wire. This is just your standard memory wire. It's the round memory wire though, it's not the flat memory wire. And again, it does work with wires that are 20 to 24 gauge. And so you can also look up that for your head pins as well. You can get a 21 gauge head pin, 22 gauge, 24 gauge. Thank you, Nancy. We all struggle with it. Oh my gosh, I really do. I'm like, I think I need a new glasses prescription. Like this definitely makes me feel like I need new glasses. Okay, so my secret tip for finial beads is clay, is Play-Doh, or you could use polymer clay. I find it helps a lot if you make a little setting for them out of clay, and it keeps their holes upright. So I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. To me, it's a lifesaver. It really helps a lot. So let's go ahead and make some finial head pins to begin with, and then we'll talk about the memory wire. Those are the two things I really want to cover, and then we'll make a couple pairs of earrings. That'll be really fun. Oh, you can put the glue tip in a wine cork and not struggle anymore. I love that. Thank you, Monique. I'm going to try that. Yeah, because I really like this glue, but boy, that little pin tends to get me now. Okay, so I'm going to just clear a little bit of my table here. And instead of using the cut wire, which I do think is a really good option, I'm going to just cut the head off of a pre-made head pin, and then I'll have a nice straight wire to work with. So I am going to scoot my beading mat up so that I just have my table. And hopefully that this is a good spot that you can see okay. Is this good, or do I need to move it up a little? If you guys could let me know if this is visible or if I should move it up just a little bit. Okay, so I can maybe do it right there. That might be easier. It's a little bit more centered. So this is parchment paper. You can use plastic, you can use whatever you want to protect your work surface. So I just have it taped down so it's flat. So I just have that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of Play-Doh, and this is under $1 pretty much anywhere you go. But you could also use any other type of clay that you like. Basically, you just need something squishy to set your little finial beads down into. Now, there are other ways of doing this. This is just what I found to be easiest because they're little round beads that like to roll around, and I didn't want to struggle with that. So I'm going to go ahead and make basically like little piles of these. So just little dots on my work surface. And then I'm going to take my finial beads. Now this again is that blooming dahlia color. I think that this is so pretty, which is what I used here in the memory wire bracelet. So it's a really nice, kind of like a rosy color. And you get a ton of finial beads. Like this is going to last a very, very long time. There are so many in here. Okay, so we see what those look like. And I'm just going to go ahead and spread out a few right here. Put put my cap back on. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wire. Now this still has its head on it. This I'm just using for placement. And you can either pick these up with your chain nose plier or you can try to do this. So I'm just going to grab one. So I put that in the hole, grabbed it, and I'm going to set it down so that it is going upright on my surface in that little bit of clay. I don't know if I can get this lower. You know what? Let me see if this works. I want you guys to be able to see this. Okay, do you see how the hole is sitting upright? So the hole is facing up, sitting in that little cradle of clay. And so I'm going to do that for all of them. And I just have the tape to kind of stabilize it and keep it flat. So I'm going to do that, or I'll pick them up. And it's just there. And then set it down, facing upright. And the pin lets you, or I should say the head pin lets you kind of position these however you want to position them. Okay. And just make sure that it's upright. I'll do one more. I like it, Michelle. Just pretend we have a link for Play-Doh. Well, I wanted to also use something that was pretty commonly available and inexpensive too. Oh, and yes, Michelle, great reminder. Today is the very last day of our Labor Day sale. So that is a very good point. So it's up to 70% off and double points, and it ends tonight. So good reminder, Michelle. Will a sticky mat work for finial beads? You know what? I haven't tried it. I would say definitely give it a try. I think it depends how sticky it is. If it is but you know what? As I'm talking that through, my only concern with a sticky mat is if you accidentally get glue on the outside of the finial bead or a little glue here, it might hurt the mat. Whereas this is just a disposable piece of paper. But you could also use like a Ziploc bag. You can use anything you want for this. But I always say give it a try, experiment, see if it works. And if it does, that's great. I would just be a little cautious about maybe glue getting onto the mat accidentally. All right, now I'm going to take my cutters and I am going to cut the head off of these. So if you are wanting to make your own 2-inch head pins, just order some 2-inch head pins. If you're wanting to create 3-inch head pins, just order some 3-inch head pins, or you can make your own with the cut wire. So I'm going right up there and snipping this off. Hello, Charlotte. We are making custom head pins and we're having fun finishing memory wire with finial beads, which are really fun once you start experimenting with them. So I'm just cutting this so I have a nice piece of wire. I'm going to do 4 of them. Oh, great tip, Michelle is just saying, if you have any scraps or eye pins, use those with your finial beads. That's a great tip. We're always talking about don't throw away anything. Keep all your scraps because you never know what you're going to be able to use it for. I love that. I'm a big one for trying to make your supplies stretch. Okay, so I just now have essentially 4 nice pieces of wire right here. And now we're going to go ahead and we are going to take our glue and we are going to basically put a little bit of glue on the tip of our wire, turn it upside down and go down into that finial bead. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull it off to the side. I want to kind of talk this through before I do it because I'm going to be concentrating when I do it. So a little bit of glue on the end, push it down into the finial bead, scooch it off to the side and lay it down so that it can dry. I tried at first drying them all upright thinking, oh, I could have this cute little forest of eye pins drying, and they started to kind of wobble. So I think it's best to put them down on their side. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to open it up, and here's this pin that we talked about. So if you're not familiar with GS Hypo Cement, it's a really nice glue with a really fine applicator tip. But it has this pin. See that pin right there that goes into the center of it? It can be a little tricky to get that back in I just find that my eyes struggle with that a little bit more than they used to, but that is life. Okay, so we've got the glue, and we're just going to put a little bit of glue. Okay, so I just got a little bit of glue on that tip. I am going to go down into the hole that's sitting upright for me. And I could feel it kind of just go in there, pull it away. And now this is what I've got. I'm not worried about that clay. That's gonna wipe away later. But I've got that now set in there. And so I'm just going to sit this down on my mat to dry. Okay, I have, if you can, I don't know if you can see this, I've got my glue on a little piece of plastic, and it's actually spilling out a little bit, which is fine. I'm just gonna grab a little bit from the puddle. So I got that. You want it to be a decent amount. Maybe I will just squeeze it on here again. You can't do that with putting your finger on the pin because the pin has glue on it. And you're not going to really want to touch the glue, would be my opinion on that one. But again, there's definitely more than one way to do things. I try not to touch the glue. So I just probably wouldn't touch the pin because it does get kind of gluey. Okay, and I'm just pulling my clay away. I'm dragging it on my work surface a little bit to make sure it's in there, and putting it off on its side again. Probably don't need to do 4, but hopefully this is able to be seen here. I'm just putting some glue on there. And it's a nice amount because you want this to stick. And this too is why I feel like 22 is kind of the perfect gauge for this. 24 felt a little bit loose. Okay, and then just sticking it into that hole. That hole is upright for me. Drag it away. I'll worry about the clay at the end of the day. And that is all there is to it. Now I let these dry for a couple hours. I wanted these to be solid. I'm gonna move this off to the side carefully. Move this off to the side because I wanna bring my bead mat back. So those just need to dry. Yeah, they're kind of scooching everywhere on my table. All right. Because I want to show you what they look like when they're done. I'm going to try off camera because I cannot do it on camera to put my pin back in because I'm going to reuse this glue again here in a little bit, but I want to show you the finished result of the finial beads. Okay. And I am definitely going to try this wine cork idea. That sounds so good. Okay, so I did get it back in. I just had to kind of hold it up to my face a little bit better. So I'm just going to screw that back on. And now, so those are going to dry for a couple hours. So those are fine. When they're dry, scrape away the clay, and then you're going to be good to go. And then they're going to look like this. This is what I did yesterday. I made all these pretty eye pins, and I love them. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm always looking at handmade jewelry. I love it. I love going to boutiques and looking. I love just everywhere looking at handmade jewelry. And I always love it when I come across stuff that I'm like, how did they do that? And I'm always like, wow, how did they make that? And these finial beads for me are definitely in that category. They're just so different and they create just a different look. It's like, because I'm like, oh, I've never seen head pins like this to be purchased before. So I'm like, wow, how did they do that? So I love that now you can make your own head pins. And I do like it that you can make it to match your beads as well, like you saw here. So it is cool that you can look up the color name and find coordinating beads as well. So I'm really loving that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to make a quick pair of earrings using a finial bead here. And it would match this bracelet. And then here, before the show ends, I am gonna show how to add it to memory wire, but I'm also gonna teach you how to finish it with memory wire because it's a bit of a different process. So I do wanna share some really important tips on how to finish it with memory wire. Okay, so I've got this eye pin right here. This one's good to go. And not eye pin, head pin, excuse me. And then this was one of the bead mixes I used for the bracelet. Oh my gosh, a couple comments went by too fast. I'm so sorry. Hopefully Michelle or Eric caught them. If not, if you don't mind asking again, because I didn't mean to not see them. Okay, so I got that mix. These are 6mm in that blooming dahlia color, the same color as the finial bead that I use. So this is what that strand looks like. So it's this really pretty bead. And I can actually scoop this down a little bit. And then what other beads did I use? Oh, I used this bead. This was like a really cool, like turquoisey one. This looked very antique-y. So I was going to use that one. And then I had a little smaller bead, which here it is. It's hiding. I had this in the blooming dahlia as well. Yeah, so these are finials. So yeah, it's really interesting. So the finial beads are only half drilled. So like here is a finial bead. So you see that it's completely smooth here. There's no hole coming out. There was just the hole we went into, as opposed to more of like a traditional bead where it goes all the way through. So it is definitely a very unique bead. And I really was excited to do this show because I've been wanting to teach how to work with them. Okay, so we're just going to make ourselves the pretty little matched earring. So it is a head pin. It just, of course, works like any other head pin. And we're gonna make this earring to match. Okay, so good old wire looping pliers. You don't do anything different. This is just a regular head pin at this point, although it's definitely elevated and super pretty. I do feel like this is going to be a new thing for me. Like I'm going to be wanting to make custom head pins, especially with 68 colors. I mean, that's so many colors. I love it. Okay. Cutters. And tuck my end. Okay, so we just made that. So we made that cute little drop right there. And it does, it looks different. It definitely looks like something else is happening here besides just a more traditional head pin. All right, and then looks like I did wire for this one. So I'm gonna grab my 22 gauge wire here for my link. That's what I used for my sample. So I was doing a little bit heavier wire than I sometimes do. We're going to make a little wrapped wire loop. So we're going to play with a couple of these custom head pins, making a couple pairs of earrings, and then we're going to definitely go on to memory wire. Okay, just grab my loop. Tail. All right, for this one, I was going to use these cool triangle beads that come in this mix. They're kind of like a pretty metallic, like a dark metallic red almost. And they're in that mix. And then one of these turquoisey beads and then another metallic. So there we go. That's our second link. And it needs to be straightened up, but because it's just wire, we can do that. Make your wire do what you want it to do. Okay, we're going to do another link, another wrapped wire loop. But before I do my wrappings on this one, I'm going to connect my little finial dangle. Okay, just connect my little dangle. And do some wraps. Okay, and we're just building it out. And then one more, and then we'll put the earring hook on, and that earring is done. I do think that it is definitely a good idea just to give extra time for your glue to fully set. I would do at least an hour, if not 2 hours. Okay, same thing for our final dangle. And of course, love my wire looping pliers, but you could use round nose too. final dangle. And this one I just used a little 3mm pearl and then another bead from this mix. There was kind of like this matte cube bead in this mix, which was super pretty. And so then I did that. Another one here. And then we'll do our wrappings, connect it up. Well, I should say we'll connect it up, do our wrappings, hang an earring hook, and this earring is done. Okay. Ooh, the seed bead mix is called Tiger's Eye. I like that. I'm terrible about looking at the names. I remembered the Blooming Dahlia. That one really stuck out, but I'm terrible with the names. That's why I'm so thankful for that shopping bag. So if you do have a question about a name, you could definitely put it in the comments, or that shopping bag is such a good resource because it has everything on my table, so it's easier to identify. Okay, gonna add an earring hook, and then we've made a really pretty earring. It's got that really nice little finial at the base. Okay, so we're just gonna add an earring hook. And then we'll look at the matched set together. All right, so here's our little set using just the same beads that I used for the bracelet. I didn't introduce any new beads, and the same little finials here. And then it looks like this as a set. So here is your little memory wire bracelet earring set here. And there's those nice big turquoise beads. There's another smaller 4mm turquoise as well, and then all those Blooming Dahlia beads with the finial bead ends. And I do think they're so cool looking when you finish memory wire with them. So really neat. All right, so that is our set. I want to make one more earring with finial beads, and then we're going to go talk all about memory wire. So here was the other little earring I made, and it has a little gold finial. That was the metallic flax. We could have done turquoise. I actually originally thought I would do turquoise, but I liked the contrast. So I have a pre-made one here. So I need gold with the metallic flax. So here's my little stash. So I've got my little stash right here. Okay, so I'll just take this one. But they look so pretty together. I just want to make a bunch of them ahead of time and have them in my jewelry box of my findings so I can just pull them out when I'm ready. And then, okay, so now I'm going to take this little mix here, and I needed one of these big beads and two of these little like turquoisey flowers. So I'm not using a lot of beads from it. There's definitely more to choose from in this pretty little mix. And then I'm going to just put the little flower. Oh, nice little detail too. Hopefully that's coming through. It's really pretty. It's like a little rose. Okay, slip that on. And in this case, I'm just going to do a simple wire loop. Okay, a little simple loop. Trim it. And now I'm going to just make myself an eye pin out of this. I think I'll have to do something with those really bright purple ones too. I think they would be really pretty. Or if you're doing projects that have like flower beads, you can match the flower colors too, which would be really pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to just put on my big bead. Make another simple wire loop. Okay, and then this is going to be big enough. This is a scrap of wire. I'm going to be able to make this into an eye pin so it doesn't go to waste. Okay, just turn the end, kick it back. I just have a small bead to go onto it. Then we'll link them all up and they'll be good. Okay, and I tend to straighten my loops at the end. I don't know, it just seems a little easier to go back and straighten up all the loops at the very end, but you could do it as you go as well. Okay, so to straighten your loops, you just go in with your pliers. I know the big white gold bead is so pretty. I agree. It's very, to me, very vintagey. Okay, so we've got that straightened up. This one, just go in and kind of wiggle it and straighten it. And then we got this one. So I am going to straighten that up. That is our little finial guy right there. And so I'm just going to, I want the spray to go upwards. You can make it go down as well. I thought it looked really pretty going up. So I'm just going to open up this loop, slip on my little finial dangle, close it, go up to this loop, open it, slip on my little rose, my little turquoise rose, close it. And now I just need an earring hook and this earring is done. Okay. Easy peasy, but really something special with that finial bead. Okay, so here's our little set with those pretty little finial beads. And we could have done turquoise. We could have definitely done the turquoise finial beads with this mix as well. Or we could have done the gold. We could have even done a high contrast or a little bit more contrasty here as well. So you can definitely play with it. Oh, thank you, Carol Ann and Connie. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna wear these earrings a bit. This is me. These are my colors. This is my style. I love these guys. So, and then that finial just is such a nice touch. All right, guys, let's talk about memory wire. Okay, so the thing with memory wire, so quick review of memory wire if you're not familiar with it. It comes in coils. I have a couple different coils here because I always keep my scraps. It comes in coils. It retains its shape, which is really handy. We love that. Oh, hello, Tracy. Oh my gosh, have a wonderful trip. Netherlands, that sounds amazing. We'll have a very good trip. Okay, so we've got this memory wire. You have to, well, you don't have to. We've had this conversation before. It is recommended you cut memory wire with memory wire cutters because it's so strong. Memory wire cutters are really easy to cut it. It can definitely nick and ding your traditional, regular, everyday cutters, which makes it hard. Oh, hello, Ruth Alice. Oh, happy birthday to your husband. That's wonderful. Okay, so here is what it looks like to start. Here's what it looks like with beads on it. Then, of course, the memory wire cutters. Okay, so what you're going to do, you can either pre-cut however many coils you want ahead of time, or you can just leave it as the full length and then cut it later once you put your beads on. So definitely that's, whatever you want to do. We are going to start by getting a finial bead glued on to the tip. And then we have to pause and we have to let it dry. And you're gonna let it dry again, an hour to 2 hours. You want that to be really dry. That's why I did one ahead of time, like a sample swatch that's already dry so that we can then work with it to show how to finish it. But I do wanna show you how to put the finial bead onto the memory wire to start with. So let's move the table set up again here. Boop, boop. Okay, so same basic idea. We're gonna make a little cradle, a little pile of clay. And we're gonna put, well, actually, there's already a finial bead. I only did, if you guys can see this here, I'm gonna move these guys to another spot to dry. Okay, so those are all done. Those just need to dry. All right, so if you see what we have here, we already have that finial bead sitting upright in our clay. So that one is ready to go. And again, I'm gonna walk you through what I'm gonna do because when I do it, I'm gonna be concentrating. We're gonna put a little bit of glue right here on the end. And then we're going to put it into that finial bead. Now, the issue that I had, and I'm gonna move my table and show you guys this because this is helpful because I know we had questions about struggling with the glue component of the memory wire. So if I go like this, I don't know if you guys can see this, but my round of my memory wire is hitting my table. So I can't get in there. I'm up too high. So basically you need to elevate, you either need to elevate this onto something, or you can do what I did, and I'm gonna show you. You guys are gonna see my very dirty rug. I am gonna put it on the edge of my table. And what I'm gonna do, let me see if I have my tape. I'm gonna tape it to stabilize it. Okay, get this stabilized. Okay, I'm gonna put it on the edge of my table. And now when I go and I add the glue here, I can have my whole hand, here, let's move it more like this, without this falling off. I can have my whole hand here, and this coil can then go lower than this spot here. So hopefully that's making sense, and hopefully it's easy to see, because you know we're always trying to problem solve here. It's like, oh well, that didn't work, but this does. This gives us a lot more room here on the table edge. And so I need to do my stand again because it's about to fall off. So sorry for the cranks. There we go. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. Now I'm gonna go in again with my glue. Okay, same thing as before. So I've got my glue. I'm gonna put it on the tip. Okay, so I've got glue on the tip of my memory wire. And now I'm able to reach down here without it interfering. It's got a little extra glue on there. I'm just gonna get that little strand off. And push it in the same as before. You can kind of feel it notch on there. I'm gonna pull the clay away. I always say trim up your clay later because you can interfere with the glue at the time that you're doing it. But there it is, and it's on it. And it just has that little bit of clay. But that is on there now. So what I would do, I would let it dry just like this for about 10 to 15 minutes. After 10 to 15 minutes, I would go through, I might dislodge it by trying to do this. I would go through and add a little extra bit of glue right where it connects, right on the edge where you see it connect to the wire. So that would be my tip. Give it a time to stabilize this first round of glue, but because this is gonna be put to more wear than perhaps like a pair of earrings, I really want that glued in there. So I'm just gonna go back with the GS Hypo Cement, add a little bit of glue right where the finial bead connects to the wire and let that dry. So that is how you get it onto that wire to begin with. All right, so now we're gonna shoot on back and go to my sample piece here. And I know I just missed a question. And then I'm gonna try to put this lid back on too, this little pin, if it will let me. I need to bring out the glue again in a second anyways, but all right, well, we're gonna leave the pin off for a minute. Okay, so you've done that. You've done your reinforcing glue as well. So this is basically like double glued. It is on there good. So now you just add your beads as normal. So whatever, I'm just gonna add what beads I have here because I've just got some pretty beads right here. So just add your beads as normal. Whatever pattern you like. And then once you are done adding your beads, so let's say this was our beads, right? So you've put your beads on, you have them, they're all good, you've done your coils, right? So you're basically up to this part right here. So you've done all your bead work. Now there's an extra step, and this will save so much frustration. We are going to glue the last bead. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some glue right here between the second to last bead and the last bead. So we're just gonna pull this bead up, let gravity work, hang those ones down. Go in with your GS Hypo Cement. Put some glue on there. So you see how there's some glue right there. And then, oh, hey, I'm a few beads high. Whoops. Okay, we're going to scoot that down. Let's re-show that. I didn't realize I had a couple extra beads in there. Okay, so the second to last bead, put some glue right on top of it. Slide down your last bead over the glue and let that fully dry. So let that dry for an hour or two. So it does take a little longer to make a project like this because you do have your dry times. Okay, so I can't show the next step because I've got drying glue, but I'm gonna walk you through it. So let me put my lid back on my glue over here so that it stays good. And then I'm gonna walk you through how you would add the last finial bead because it's a little bit different, the process. Okay. And that wine cork is definitely coming my way because I really is struggling with this lid here. Okay, let me put this in here. Okay, so what you're going to do then, let's see. So we've got this, right? So this is where we're at. Once this is fully dry, you are going to trim this wire right up close. So it's like maybe 1/8 of an inch. And by having your last bead glued, your beads aren't going to come off. And that's what I initially struggled with. When I was trying to finish memory wire with finial beads, I was really struggling trying to hold all my beads on and not have them fall off when I put the final finial because you have to trim it real close. So you're just going to come in with your memory wire cutters and you're just going to trim the excess. So we're just going to pretend I can't trim up close to that because I've got glue, but we're just going to trim off the excess. And that will be really up close here, okay? So that's like 1/8 of an inch away. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold it. You're gonna put a little bit of glue on that 1/8 little bit that's left, and you're gonna come in and add your finial bead. And what I found the easiest way to do it was to take your chain nose pliers, put your finial bead in your chain nose pliers with the hole facing out. So you see, so now you got to imagine this is all dry and glue. This is all glued and dried. Your beads are not falling off. And then you've got that 1/8 little bit right there. You've got glue on it. And then you just come in with your chain nose plier with your finial bead. And yes, stick it on there and you let it dry and then you're good to go. And I would also go back and I would add again an extra bit of glue once this has set up a little bit. So basically we're doing a double glue for the memory wire just because bracelets get a lot of wear and tear. You're pulling them on, you're pulling them off. They're getting knocked against things. And I really want to make sure your beads don't fall off. So just remember, so you've glued this on, you've let it set for maybe 15, 20 minutes, go add another dab of glue and then let that set for a couple hours. And then you're gonna be good to go. And then when it's done, this is what it looks like on a memory wire bracelet. So I love how it finishes it. So you don't have those loops. What you've got is just another really pretty bead that, if you want, can match your other beads, or it can be random, of course. So lots of different choices. So yay, so that is how you work with finial beads. So you can make custom head pins, you can finish memory wire bracelets. I am sure that there's a lot more you can do with them too. These are my favorite applications, but I know that there's other things you can do as well. But they're really fun and they do come in so many pretty colors. I know I just have a small sampling, but I love Limelight. I use that color all the time. And of course, turquoise is so good. You could do Christmas. I'm sure that you can do holly berries. Oh, holly berries with the lava red would be so cute at Christmas time. Oh, thank you, Santa Barbara girl. Yeah, I always try to think of something new. I'm always like, well, what can we do that is fun and different? And I've loved these finial beads for a while. I'm glad I was able to put it together. Flax, this really pretty, this is like crocus or something. I think this is like spring crocus or something. Falling down. Navy. And then blooming dahlia. So really pretty. Tanzanite. Yes, the tanzanite is so pretty. This is the tanzanite one. And I'll show you what that looks like if we just look in here. Yeah, that's a really pretty color too. Oh, Ruth Alice. Yes, catch the replay. It'll become available just as soon as, well, a few minutes after we say goodbye. But enjoy your lunch with your husband. Bug antennas. Oh, yes. Oh, you know me and whimsical. Okay, I'll have to think what else I can do with it. Well, I have thought about the flower stems. You know that there's those, you see them a lot. They're really pretty, like lucite flower petals, and they have little flower stems that come off of them. And what you can do is you can go ahead and you can like make like a little loop up top, and then this becomes like a dangle. Have you guys seen those flower petal earrings? They're really pretty, and this would make pretty. You could do like 3 of these at different heights. You just trim it, and then you hang it from like a flower, like upside down flower. So. Oh, nice, Ruth Alice. Okay, now I want lunch. Okay, so thank you guys for joining me. This will become available for the replay. And then if you make something with finial beads, please post it to our Facebook group, hashtag Serious Art Beaders. It'd be fun to see what everyone else makes with these. They're really fun. Tell me what you think about them. If you do have any in your shopping cart, please remember to check out. This is the last day of our big Labor Day sale, so good timing. So it's up to 70% off site throughout the site, and then double points. So good day for it too. Butterflies, yes. Butterflies would be fun. Bees, you could do little bees with theirs. That would be fun too. Oh, good, Denise. I'm glad you liked it. I had fun planning this show. All right, guys, I'm going to pop my camera up real quick so we could say goodbye for this afternoon. Okay. All right. That was fun. Oh my gosh, my camera's a little wonky. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed learning about finial beads. They're really fun. I just want to make them in a ton of colors. I want custom headpins now. So thank you guys for joining me. I will be here Saturday as well at 8 a.m. We have our Saturday morning cartoons, as we are calling it now, where I come and we bead and we start the weekend off on a creative note. And we play together. So 8 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday. So join us if you can, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Oh, LJ, I saw you just said rats. I missed it. The replay will come up soon, and then join us on Saturday. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you this weekend. Have fun with finial beads. Look at all those colors. There's so many. It's just really fun to pick out your favorites and then pick out matching beads. I had a blast doing that. All right, everyone, take care. Enjoy your